Welcome guys again to the Talking Dev. We are continuing with our HTML and CSS coursework. In this video is where we talk about the prerequisite of this coursework. If you're thinking in terms of technology, you don't need to know anything. All you need to know is how to install VS Code, which will be the required thing that it's a little bit technical, and then the rest of it will be following. I will walk you step by step of exactly what you need to do to build the profile page that I showed you earlier. There are things that we need to set up. In fact, let's call it an environment, which it is called the environment. First, you need VS Code. And before we go there, let me, in my desktop here, I have a small markdown that I've written. You'll find it on my GitHub page. So let me quickly open my GitHub page. So we are on my GitHub page. That is where you can download the coursework of the final bit of this coursework, and everything else that we'll be doing in this coursework will be on this GitHub page. You'll find the link below here. So here it is, and it has a little bit of instruction of what you're supposed to do. And the first thing that you're supposed to have in your you need to do is to install the VS Code. So I'll be using VS Code all through this training. And if you want to use any other code editor other than VS Code, you are invited. But if you want to have a consistent development environment like mine, download VS Code. It is free, and it's one of those modern code editors that we have outside here for free, and it makes your work extremely easy. The next thing you need to have is this plugin that it's called the Live Server. It is the one that will enable us to serve our HTML without needing anything else. Of course, we could serve the HTML plainly on the page by pasting URL from a machine, but using a Live Server, it is easier because it has this hot reload. Once we write something and we create some few features, we save it and it reloads our work automatically, and it doesn't have a lot of things to configure. So here I have the link for it. You find it on this markdown. The next thing that we need as a plugin is Prettier. Prettier will enable us to format. There is a little bit of setting that you have to do there. Let me quickly show you. So this is the Prettier code formatter. So what we do is that when you come to your VS Code, let me open my VS Code here. You need to go to your setting. So it is here on File, and then Preferences, and then Settings. Once you're on the setting page, let's find Prettier. Yes. So here we have these simple settings. You need to click them, and then you also need to find the format. Formatter, I suppose, is formatter. Yes, we have default formatter. Here is where we will set what is default formatter. For me, I will send it to Prettier. That is, and then I've also clicked for HTML, CSS, JavaScript, JSON, TypeScript, and all this that you are seeing here as my settings. Once you do that, you've already set up your Prettier and what we call your live server. Now, the only thing that you need to do once you do that, it's maybe if you're thinking to have the same consistent environment as myself, we'll go back to my GitHub page. Here we have other things or extra configurations that you will need. One of which is Emmet. Emmet will allow you to write your code fast. So, and it comes pre-configured with VS Code. That will be easy to do. As you go through the course, you'll see how I'll be using it. And then the next thing that you need here is you will have to download Fira Code. And then Once you download it, it is here. They've also given the instruction how to install the font. Once you download it and install the font on your machine, the only thing is to set that font to your default. So let me try to do that here. Okay. Settings. Okay, I need to go to settings, file preferences. So we go back to preferences and settings, and by there is that shortcut. Then you go to fonts and you set your default font to Fira Code. So here is it, and this is how you have it, and then any other setting that you may want to configure in your VS Code. So the next thing that you need to do here also is to have a Cobalt theme too. That is Cobalt theme. I have the one that VsCode gave. It is this Cobalt 2 theme by VsCode. It's actually very interesting, this theme. It's the one that gives my editor this kind of a theme, which has a black theme and all those styles, and VsCode has actually tweaked it to look a little bit interesting and more of a way that makes you feel like I'm a developer and I feel that this environment is working for me. The next thing that you may want to have probably is this VS Code icons. So it's more like a plugin, but they are icons. Usually what these do is that, let me go back to my environment here and I show you. As you can see, my files here on my left hand side, maybe your menu here, it will be on your left hand side, and this one on mine, it's on the right side. Sorry for saying it was on left side. So if you see at these files, they have icons. So we have like a CSS file, it has that 3 on it, HTML file, it has that one. We also even have a readme, even folders for the style sheets and JavaScript and images. They have those icon on them. It will give that good feeling to your environment, especially when you are developing. Those ones that I've said at the last, they are other extra configuration. So that means you don't have to do it at all. If you want just to follow along, you can do the plugins and the live server and Prettier and VS Code. These three, that's all you need. But if you want to go a little bit further, that's where you go. Now, about the project is that we will be writing our project step by step. So we'll have more folder as we continue to add here. And as you notice, we are using Git and GitHub. So this is where if you're new to this kind of environment, I won't touch on that one on this coursework. But if you want to get into details, you can find somewhere online how to go about storing your code on GitHub and setting up a repo. But for this course, we won't go into that. That is another context. I will be saving these files on GitHub so that you can have access of them. We've come to the end of this, and I hope you are excited to do the next part. So the next portion of this video, we'll talk about a little bit introduction to HTML. We set a little bit of foundation so that you know what it is that you are doing here and what is this HTML and where it has come from and so far where we are. So see you in that video. And one thing that I leave you with, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, that is the Talking Dev, please click the subscription button and also make sure you click the notification button there so that you can have notification every time I release new videos. And like this video, share and leave your comment. Let me hear from you. Your comment will help me understand what exactly I'm doing right and what else that you may need to add in my videos. So thank you so much. See you in the next section.